I put the zipper on the wrong side. My sewing machine started messing up again. Where is the zip? Hi y'all, thank you for being here. This week, I thought it would be fun to make a bag. Or is it a purse? I don't know. I am going to call it a bag anyways. So let's get started. I made it from some old jeans, materials from my old, very expensive Colette bag, and my fabric stash. For the pattern, I was inspired by said Colette bag. Now this bag served me well for 5 years, but it was starting to disintegrate. I literally used it every day. So this is a little plan I made for this bag. Now, I really wanted it to be unique. So I decided that I wanted to add embroidery. I did some embroidery for the first time about 2 weeks ago. I think because I knew how to hand sew already, it was quite easy to take on.
Okay.
But whether or not it looks good is a different story. You'll see for yourself later. So I started off by taking the Colette bag apart so that I could use the materials. It was kind of bittersweet letting go of my old bag. Now I wanted to use this card slot for my bag, but as I was separating it from the fabric, it disintegrated like the rest of the bag. Anywho, I continued with it all. So these are the 3 items I managed to recover from my old bag. After that, I went on to create the pattern pieces for the bag. Guys, I was bold. I straight up used a pen.
Bruh.
So I had all my pattern pieces and I decided to cut the fabric out. I initially wasn't sure how to cut this, but decided to just go for it. Guys, denim is so hard to cut. Or maybe I need new scissors. I don't know. Before y'all give me advice in the comments, I am aware this is probably not the appropriate way to do this, but just let me do it. I'll either fail or win. By the way guys, this is not a tutorial. It's just me trying things out. If however, this turns out great, I might make a pattern and a video tutorial for this. I finally finished cutting all of the required pieces. I made a little instructions manual on how I was going to tackle this bag. Honestly, I was not sure if I was going to be able to replicate this. I also made this drawing for the embroidery part. I love elephants, guys, ever since I was a kid. So I thought it would be a fun little addition, and I also like flowers. Now, tea time, and hold on to your buttons because sewing begins soon. Here is my sewing machine. I love this machine, guys. As you can see, my last sewing project required pink thread. So that's what I'm gonna use today. I started by ironing the corners of the card slots. Guess who does not like ironing and chose a hobby that involves ironing? I sewed all of the card slots together. Next part was making the inner pocket. Honestly, reading back on these notes, I wonder what influence I was under. We were not off to a good start. I accidentally slipped the slider off the teeth of the zipper, but it actually turned out to be an advantage to sewing it on, so can't complain. Then I realized I put the zipper on the wrong side. I wanted the right side to be on the inside of the pocket, so I had to reattach the zipper, sew it, and then zigzag it. People who have overlockers, is it worth getting one for neatening the edges? I cut where the zip from the inside pocket will peek through. This is what I'm aiming for. Remember how a few moments ago I cut the inside pocket on the fold? Well, I had to cut it open because it was going to be hard to sew into the lining. I honestly don't know if this is a good idea, but at the same time, I don't know how the Colette bag inner pocket was cut on a fold. Anyway, here's the zip on the lining. I kind of made the hole too big and it got all bunched up. My sewing machine started messing up again, and at this time it was already 10 p.m. So I decided to abandon this and go to bed. The next morning, I thought yesterday's mishap was the end of it all. Then this happened. The pocket was not aligned properly. The seam is now on the back wall of the pocket. Hopefully on the final pattern that I might or might not end up doing for you guys, I can figure out how to make it align well. Maybe that's why in the Colette bag it was on a fold. Next, I sewed the side and base panels to one of the lining and then the rest. This is how it looked. Not bad actually. And here's how everything looks. I was so happy. The inner pocket is perfection. Well, I actually feel bad for not showing you any sewing footage. So here's a little montage and also a break for my voice. Guys, I literally one thread chicken. I can't believe it. Now the lining and outside parts of the bag are done. I proceeded to draw the embroidery pattern to the front of the bag. Now, I initially wanted to trace, but I could not because I don't have tracing paper. So I decided to draw by hand. It actually doesn't look too bad. Also, what material would y'all recommend to use so that I don't have to draw twice next time? I've seen people using some dissolving fabric or paper, but I don't know what it's called. Wait, I'm gonna do a quick Google search. Turns out it's called embroidery transfer paper. I used materials from this embroidery kit I bought last year and tried for the first time 2 weeks ago. I was a bit worried that the embroidery circle frame would not fit or work on the denim, but surprisingly it worked. I think it's because the denim was actually quite stretchy. I proceeded with embroidery. It was quite difficult to record the process, but here's the progress. Guys and girls, this is the best thing I have in my sewing box. It's so useful for threading thick yarn into the needle. Fun fact, I was so nervous it was going to break, so I bought more, just in case. I finally finished it. I messed up on these leaves, but it's alright. I then proceeded to ironing the strap lining fabric. Then I did the same for the denim before sewing it all together. I attached the zip. Once again, I removed the slider out to make it easier. I don't know if I'll be able to do this with a normal zipper that I just bought from the store, but we'll see. I'll have to try it for this pattern. I attached the strap to the lining, then I put the two together and sewed them. And now was the moment of truth. The plan was for the zip. What? The plan was for the zip to be sticking out. Where is the zip? Oh my gosh, where is the zip, guys? Where is the zip? I also lost my seam ripper, so I had to use these embroidery scissors to undo it all. Talk about adding more pressure than I already need. I really miss my seam ripper in this situation. I sometimes take it for granted. When I find it, I promise I'll never misplace it again. Okay, second time lucky. I think it is time to talk about this video sponsor. I'm the sponsor of this video. Maybe one day, my sponsorship to you is taking some break from my voice. Not for long though. Yes, we did it, guys. The zipper is on the outside and everything looks perfect, right? Right? Oh, what the fuck? So, next step was sewing the strap to the sides. I decided to hand sew them. Now, this side was loose because I undid it earlier, as you saw. The other side was already sewed in, so should not need too much sewing. These are the needles I have, and they are so tiny. I don't know how I'm going to go sewing into the thick layers of this denim. Given how painful it was, I decided to just sew the strap off camera. And I hope y'all are ready for the reveal. Ta-da! It turned out pretty good, right? Oh my goodness. I actually used it for the last 2 days to see if it is still strong. And it was. I can fit a bunch of things as well, including a small book, my cards, my glasses, lipstick, earphones, a pen, and a phone, which you can't see because it is recording this video. There is so much space. More than my original Colette bag. I'm sorry, Colette. I am so happy with it, and I hope it lasts a bit longer than 6 months. As I said earlier, I might do a little tutorial. Would you all like a tutorial? Please let me know in the comments and I'll try my best. Well, that's it for today. Thank you again for spending time with me. Until next time.